Hello then, and welcome to the Grassy Pastures Podcast, the first ever Grassy Pastures Podcast as well. I am obviously Harry, and joined with my co-caster and friend Matt, of course. It's us together once again, and we just thought, let's do a podcast, kind of be rotating through topics such as PUBG, casting, all that kind of business, and just general chit chat and things about the community, really. So. I guess first order of business is, how are you? How's your week been? How's things?
Yeah, I'm good actually. We've actually been playing a bit of PUBG, which is a bit of a change. It just feels like sometimes we get so bogged down, and certainly you get bogged down in running these events and coming up with ideas that we don't actually really get to play. I've actually been enjoying playing the game for a long time, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, same for me. It's been it's been nice just to kind of jump in. We've just done some normals and things like that, and it's quite nice just to be able to pick up the game. Obviously, neither of us have really been very interested in playing sort of comps and things like that for a long time now. I can't remember the last time we played a comp, to be fair, but still like to play the game every now and again, of course, as a lot of listeners do, and. Yeah, it's been fun to kind of do it. So, there's been a few new features to the game. I think it's kind of kept it a bit interesting. Destin, I think, is quite a nice addition to the game. I think it's had a nice change of pace. Not quite sure why they took it out. I think that's one of the weirdest decisions I think I've seen after they spent years literally developing this map and then take it out within a month. But there we go. It is coming back. For PC, it's coming back tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, tomorrow. Yeah, we've got it next week, haven't we? Yeah, I love Destin, honestly. Like, I play Destin just non-stop. Like, I want it in comp. I want it just to play it all the time. I absolutely love it. Like, it's just so new and so fresh that I just play it all the time.
Yeah, 100%. I think it's got a nice mix of everything, really. It's not too open. It's got nice areas that are kind of different. I think compared to Tago, I mean, we've kind of spoken about it before, but one thing I find about Tago is just it's very flat, one-dimensional. There's no real like iconic areas other than you. I mean, you've got
no. Tago is the best.
It's just Tago though.
It is. I love Tago as well.
When's the last time you've played a Tago and you've been like, oh, I'm really excited to have a zone that's going to end here? Like, there's never been...
Yeah, but I don't play it for the zones. Like, me playing PUBG, I don't... there's no tactics to it. It's just run and shoot
that's
at anyone
obvious.
And dick around. But, yeah, like, we must have played a couple of weeks ago, and we were just driving at people in the milk trucks and stuff. Like,
it's got some nice areas. I think as a map, it's not...
No, it's not like a. It's not like a better.
It's not. Yeah,
you have to really put some terrain in there and stuff.
Yeah,
but...
I mean, I guess from like, because I mean, I know you don't really play ranked at all. I don't play very much ranked at all either, really. But when I do, Tago is the worst one to get in there because it's just not.
Oh yeah, I wouldn't
want to. Great, it's not competitive,
ranked, really.
It's a bit rubbish. But yeah, anyway, enough bashing Tago. Kind of, so we kind of thought we'd do this podcast, as you kind of said, just to kind of just chat, really, and so we're not, stuck on when we're not doing events, we kind of just talk about things just from a general point of view, because I think a lot of the time we kind of feel we have to be of a certain professionalism, kind of in the community, obviously people know what we're trying to achieve, trying to get sponsors and things like that, of course, is always something we're working for, but I think it's quite nice to be able to kind of just chat, really. So that's kind of the main reason for wanting to do a podcast. I mean, I kind of actually always wanted to do a podcast as well. It's always been one of those things that I've been, interested in, trying to put my hand to, trying to see how it goes. And I think we kind of both found a time now where we can kind of see if we can get something going a bit.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, obviously, like you said, we obviously try and keep professional across the stream. The only time we really get to chat about anything is that first sort of 15 minutes in the game where it's dead, nothing happens, or the 10 minutes at the end of the stream, which by then half the people aren't watching. So we try and keep it professional during the streams, but like, I'm not saying that everyone wants to listen to what we have to say all the time, but like, a lot of people probably know us just from the streams, which I'd say really isn't what we think all the time. You know what we're saying?
Yeah, no, I completely get what you mean. I think, you know, we're human. We're invested in the community as much as a lot of these people, if not more so than a lot of these people. And so, yeah, like we see certain things come up in the community that we kind of, you know, we have our opinions on, and sometimes don't necessarily voice those opinions. Yeah, I mean, it's not, you know, we never want to put anyone down, and we always try and help people in the community and things like that. But yeah, there's always the odd thing that sort of comes up that will kind of be something that will be not something we necessarily agree with, but won't always necessarily voice that. I think there's been a few, few situations recently that's kind of come about that we kind of definitely had our own views on, that we don't, you know, we kind of have to bite our tongue a little bit, and, you know, not say we're using this podcast just to chat shit about everyone,
and
bitch, but
that's
you know,
what I wanted to do. But...
That is what you wanted to do, and I was like, no, we can't do that. But no, just kind of, you know, it's good. I think it's just nice for people to kind of understand from our point of view, kind of how we feel about things and why we kind of have those views as well. Because I think, you know, it's all well and good putting a message and stuff in like Discord or something like that, or just, you know, putting a tweet out and kind of being like, oh, we don't necessarily agree with this, but it's so hard to convey kind of how you actually feel about it in such a small space of time. So by talking about it in a podcast, at least we've got time to be able to elaborate on our thoughts on that, and you know, maybe people understand why we've got those thoughts and opinions, and not necessarily kind of just it's not just a one statement. It's not just a we don't agree with this. It's a we don't agree with this, and this is the reason why, and this is potentially how it could be fixed going forwards. So yeah, McLaren starting up in game there, just outside your window by the sounds of things.
Yeah. But yeah, well, so yeah, the plan today is to just talk about a few little topics that we had. We don't want to, you know, talk for hours because we probably could and we would. We just want to try and keep it short, address a few little things that have popped up, talk about a few events, and just sort of see where this goes. Like, we want to do this sort of semi-regularly, like, you know, you said a week, maybe every couple of weeks potentially. Like, you just don't want to put loads of us talking out because, you know, no one wants to listen to that, really, do they?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just going to be you know, people might find it interesting, and I think, you know, we just kind of want to see how it goes. It's just some more content we can kind of put out and allow us to kind of, you know, talk a bit more, hopefully boost a few of our channels as well in the meantime. And yeah, you know, it all links to the same thing. It's all the same goal. We're just trying to build on what we've already got, and it's just another platform for us to be able to do so. So yeah, you know, it's obviously first episode. We'll see how things go, see what people like, don't like about it, and yeah, just keep going as long as we feel we can keep going on about it. So yeah, as you said, a few different things to come up. So we kind of put out a message, I think it's about 4 weeks ago. Oh, wow. It seems forever ago. We've been literally meaning to do this recording for about 2 weeks at least, maybe even longer. But we've just been so busy.
You were here last week. Why did we not just like?
I had tonsillitis all last week. To be fair,
no. When you were here for Halloween.
Oh yeah,
you could have done this.
Oh yeah, we could have probably done it then. But we were a bit drunk, so maybe not. Maybe it's best to wait when we're not quite so drunk.
But, yeah, you can just about see the workout bench behind me. That's what Harry fell asleep on at 3 a.m.
Yeah, literally. So anyway, we put out this message to the community and kind of were just like, you know, what sort of things do people want to hear us talk about? We had some obviously classic responses.
You never get any serious ones. Like,
I know. We literally,
question where you want a serious response, you just know you aren't going to get one, and I hate doing it because you know you're just going to get torn apart for putting something. But yeah, to be fair, we got a few. They're not.
We did get a few, and some of them, you know, are going to be quite interesting to talk about. So I guess 2 of them are kind of football related. So we can, although obviously we said, you know, we can talk about PUBG, talk about the community. I mean, football's definitely your bag. It's not really something I get that into. But one of them is football coming home, which was submitted by Zebo. Obviously I haven't been watching too much. I'm not massively into football, but from what I've seen recently, probably not. Although of course I'd like to think it will. But it doesn't seem like there's been much success. I mean, I might be wrong, but
You never know. FIFA have just, EA Sports have literally just released or leaked who they think is going to win, which has been the last 10 years or whatever. And I think Argentina are going to win. I think they might, to be fair. It's either, I think it's going to be them or maybe France. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I don't know. We're not going to have that much chance. It's just like, we were talking about this the other day. The best thing about the World Cup is that literally you've gone from Champions League just finished straight into PCS, and then as soon as PCS finish, literally the World Cup takes you straight through to Christmas. It's sick.
Yeah, I mean the timing's been very, very well organised. Especially, I still enjoy watching the games. I'm not. I mean, people might or not know, but I'm not massively into football. Never really have been, but when the World Cup comes around, or the Euros, or like a big event, it is always still enjoyable to watch. And I do like to try and just stick the games on, even just the mid games, even just sticking them on on the second monitor while you're doing your work or whatever. It's always. I
think that's what it's going to be, isn't it? Like,
yeah,
I can't see myself going to the pub for any of these games, mainly because I don't know anyone who lives here, really.
Yeah, that's true. Same for me. Yeah, both of us obviously recently moved, so neither of us kind of.
We don't have any friends.
No, not where we are. And it's a bit of a
trek. At least we're not listening to a podcast right now. So.
Yeah, also true. So, that was one of the topics. Obviously, World Cup will be very exciting to watch. And probably one of the reasons why there's not really been too much going on kind of in the PUBG scene as well coming up. I think a lot of leagues, it was definitely the case when the Euros came about. The amount of events that we had where things were constantly changing dates because Spain were playing, or France was playing, or Germany and England. There's such big communities from each of those nations kind of in the scene that it does get very difficult to kind of arrange events around that. So seems to be a few little smaller events coming up over the hopefully next few weeks. But yeah, we haven't really planned anything. Not that we plan to anyway, but yeah, I think in general it's a bit of a shame because I think there is a bit of a calling out for a league at the minute. I feel like there's been so much going on, which we're going to touch on obviously. But there's not really anything to look forward to at the moment, or anything that looks like there could potentially be look forward to.
No. I feel it's like that sort of winter. I'm sure we had it like last year. I think the year before we had like PCL was just returning, wasn't it? Like end of the year.
Yeah.
For like the winter showdown stuff. So there was some stuff coming up, but I think the same last year as well. There wasn't really much going on. And same time, like one of the topics here we've got to talk about FIFA. Not going to talk about that, but at the same time, you ask this question, you ask for topics. Now everyone will be asking about COD. Like that's the thing at the moment. Everyone's playing COD. I've seen so many messages from people. I've screenshotted so many as well that I'm going to send you a couple of weeks when everyone's back playing PUBG, because we know it's coming. Everyone's going to come back, and it just you go on Discord. The first thing you see is PUBG's dead. And suddenly trying to make people think that is it dead? Like it's not dead. It's not dead. Everyone's still there. Everyone's still playing. You still bump into the same players. Rank normals all over the place, but we just got to let COD do its thing, because we're not. I don't play COD. I know you're not really interested in COD. We have no real interest in it. People we play with as well, not really keen on it. So just going to try and ride it out and wait till everyone comes back. But there's not really much to look forward to. I think that's kind of adding to it the fact that everyone's moved to a different game and there's no events to look forward to.
Yeah, I think you're right, and we've kind of. Trying to think back to last year, as you said, I think we put out CCS, in December. I think it was the start of December. We're kind of like, we're going to do it in the new year because there's not really anything sort of coming up. We kind of going to do this event in the new year. So there was nothing really going on in December too much. And then obviously we did CCS, which was obviously very, very successful and went really well. But that was kind of a bit of a wait for that, because we thought, it's going to take a while to fill because there's not too much going on. There's not really events filling at the moment. So we obviously had the same sort of thing last year. So I think, as you said, people are on COD, and I think COD's one of those games that kind of seems to have a very small and short lifespan. I think it has a lot of people jumping on it straight away. Everyone grinds for it. I mean, I'm not entirely sure. I haven't played a COD for years, and even then I wasn't really into it. But I mean, I think there's camos or something people have to try and grind for. I mean, I'm gonna sound really
sounds so old,
really old right now. Yeah, but I think there's that's kind of the aim. You grind for camos and stuff. So a lot of people have got something to try and achieve at the moment. I think when it gets to sort of a couple of weeks in, and the one thing I think that PUBG has got that COD doesn't have is that risk reward kind of storyline every game. I think PUBG's kind of every game feels very different. You're going in because it takes a little while to get into a game as well. Let's say it takes 5 minutes on average, because by the time you die, you loaded out of the lobby, you've readied up, you found a game, you're back in the lobby, and you've gone through the countdown, and you're in the plane. Then you've done looting. Potentially it's 5 to 10 minutes by the time you've actually got like a decent loadout to be able to play the game properly. It's more of a risk. If you die, you've got to do that process again. COD, you can pretty much find a game in seconds, you're straight in, and then every time you die in the game, you're respawning. I don't know if there's lots of different game modes that have got slightly different ways of, playing that, but that's always been the same to me. It's the same reason why TDMs on PUBG don't have a massive thing. I mean, there's no real reward for that anyway. There's no real tracking for TDM, so that's probably another reason. But I don't know many people that kind of just sit there and just absolutely grind TDMs for hours.
Oh, I do.
You definitely know some people. Okay. Sorry. You know people. I was going to say you hate TDMs.
Oh, I hate TDMs.
Absolutely no way that you're grinding TDMs hours. Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a couple of players that do, but it's still within PUBG, and they still play PUBG alongside it. They don't go, "Oh, I'm never playing PUBG again. I'm just playing PUBG TDMs." So I feel like COD's kind of the same thing. Like, it's very good. It's very quick to get into a game. Like, you can play it with your mates and stuff at the moment, but eventually people will start going, "Oh, actually, I'm a bit bored of this." PUBG always seems to be one of those ones that just keeps recycling.
I think it's the community as well, literally. Because you think about PUBG, literally, you've got, as you said, 5 minutes pre-game, 5 minutes in the lobby, 10 minutes before you shoot your gun. It's literally just a chat fest. And I know that's literally not what it is, because we've not been on a comp party for years, but at the end of the day, like, you look at Discord and it's full of people who don't really play that much, but are there for a chat, like a good time. Like, fair enough, it's a tiny little pond, but everyone is there because they know each other, whether they like it or not, they're all friends pretty much at this stage.
Yeah. And I think, it's nice to go into a game, and because there's so many people as well, like the amount of people, as you said, that you run into in those games, like whether it's a normal game, a ranked game, or obviously in comps or scrims or whatever you're playing, there's normally someone, at least one player that you will have known, or depending on what time you're playing. If you're playing the same time every day, then you're going to get the same people playing at the same time every day. And it just means that you kind of run into those people. In COD, I can imagine that's got to be so hard to find a lobby where you're in with someone else that you know from, like, accidentally.
You say that. I had a Foot Champs game against someone from TRS the other day, one of the French teams.
Nice, okay.
Me and Paul, actually. Yeah.
Love it, okay. So, well, that's clearly a thing then. But, I mean, it's so rare. Whereas PUBG is pretty much every game you're getting someone. So I think having that kind of person that you can kind of not relate to, but you can kind of, you kind of fight to kill them or whatever, or it's always like that sort of thing. Like, I mean, I've been in a couple of games with Merlin recently, and it's like, when I die or he dies, you just like message me, I was hoping to bump into you, kind of thing. It's not necessarily that either of us have killed each other, but you kind of go, "Oh, I know that person." And it kind of gets you invested more in the game. Like, you want to get more kills so they see your name in the kill feed more often and all that sort of stuff. It puts you more of an investment in that game. If you jump on a COD game as a solo, you're not really going to run into people that you know, and therefore it's like, well, okay, I've played a game of COD. Obviously, if you're in the COD community and you're playing all the time, I mean, it's obviously a lot bigger than PUBG console. I mean, PUBG console obviously is quite a small community, as we know. There will be people that you'll sort of run into, and you definitely get streamers that will be in each other's games on Warzone and things like that. but it is a very rare occasion, I think, compared to what it was on PUBG, and what it still is on PUBG as well, console or PC. No.
Yeah. And Redman asks how the duo came about. The duo, of course, being us.
Yeah, so I mean, we just met at nursery, to be fair. So many years ago. Grew up next to each other, pretty much, 3-minute walk away, either side of a hill in a little town. And yeah, went to school together. We went to secondary school together. We went back to sixth form together. And just we've kind of done a lot of stuff together. We've done like music stuff, lots of different other activities we've kind of done throughout the years. So we've always been like really close anyway. And then I think just when PUBG was getting released, I think we do like a family camp every year, don't we? Where we we call it dads and kids camp. So basically like a couple like my dad, your dad, and then another guy called Will, his dad as well, and then our sisters and stuff. We all go camping every year, and it's kind of been a thing that we've done. Now once a year, it's just for the weekend. We just kind of go away. It's very chilled. And I think we were on one of those, and you were kind of like, "Oh, have you seen this game that's coming out?" Or it had been released, I think, on PC. Yeah, I think we kind of mentioned it, and both of us. I mean, neither of us were massive into Twitch at the time. I don't think. Like we kind of knew
was into gaming. Really,
yeah, we weren't into gaming at all, and it was kind of like, oh, there's this game that looks really cool, and it's kind of like it's a little bit like the Hunger Games, and it's like it's this battle royale. You kind of jump in and last one up, and we're kind of like, oh yeah, I have actually seen that. I've seen other people play it. Like at the time, I was doing music Twitch actually. I kind of studied that, and a couple of the music streamers I watched had been playing it, so that's kind of where I saw it first. And I was kind of like, I think I saw H1Z1 as well around the same time because that was kind of a thing too. And it was like, there's this game called PUBG, like it looks really cool. And then I think it was a few months later they then announced it for Xbox, I think, or had they done the first championship?
No, because it was after DreamHack, I think. Was that the first championship?
It was IEM. No, it was DreamHack. I think was the first one.
Yeah, no, because we originally tried it on PC. That was the thing.
Yes, we did. That was it. So we kind of were like
on your Mac.
Yeah, I was trying to play on a Mac, and you were playing on a shocking PC that just could not handle anything.
No. I was playing on a Dell laptop.
Right, yeah.
2 gig RAM. The thing is, that's the closest I've got my PC to actually playing decently. Because back then the game was just, didn't take, wasn't as big as it is now.
Yeah, it didn't take quite as much power.
But then I used to go to this little. I remember because that was summer 2017. Yeah.
It's been 5 years the game's been out, so it must be about that.
And I kept trying to install it on this little crappy computer in this internet cafe.
I remember you trying to do that, and you were like talking to them, and they were like,
hours. Yeah.
Couldn't get it to work or whatever. And we were trying to play that, so we couldn't do that. Anyway, so we kind of played the game a little bit. We couldn't properly play it, and then it was announced it was coming to Xbox. I think you already had an Xbox.
Yes, yeah,
because you were playing on FIFA, and I didn't. And I was like, you know what? I'll get an Xbox for Christmas. I think it was coming out. I think it was coming out on my birthday actually that year, 2017.
Yeah, I'll tell you why. Because it came out the 16th or 17th.
Yes,
because you were around. We went out
for my birthday, and that was the first game of PUBG we played when we came back.
Yeah, and then we came back, downloaded it, absolutely smashed like 4 a.m. And
thinking we were going to be like awesome because we kind of played the game a little bit on PC, came in and it was just terrible. And then it just kind of came this thing. So I just started working in London at the time, I think. Yeah, because I must have just started working for Sony. And you were yeah, and you were at uni, I think. And then it was kind of this thing that like when I came back from work or whatever, it was like, oh, do you fancy some games? So I was coming in and we were just playing games of an evening.
8 p.m. till 10 p.m. every night. Yeah,
pretty much. And it was like, okay, no, time for bed now because I've got to get up early for work kind of thing. And we kind of did that for a little while and then got really into the game. And I think then kind of the the idea of like having like a team and stuff. I think we met Brett in a game, or there was a couple of other people we met, and then we met Brett through them in the game.
Yeah, but it was all through, because we played duos just religiously. We wouldn't talk to anyone. We had nothing to do with anyone else in the community, as I think a lot of people did back then. Although like everyone says they're OGs, they're not necessarily community OGs. They're just PUBG OGs.
Yeah.
And then it was only because I remember, because that was when the test servers were always live when the updates were coming, and they only ever did squads on them, which is when we had to then socialise with other people.
Yeah.
And that's how we then met.
It was when they released Vikendi, I think.
Yeah.
Was it Vikendi? And that's when we met Kyle and Marty, I think, in the team.
Yeah.
And then, they introduced us to Brett, and we're like, oh, Brett's actually a really good player. And we'd seen ESL actually were doing the events. So we're kind of like, let's get involved in those. Like, we didn't really know too many other events and stuff that were going on in the community. We're kind of like, let's go and play that. And we had another couple of people we met, Whiskey or Dean, when we went to Face It Global in London.
Yeah.
When I watched that, and he was like, we kind of actually spent most of the time with like Break and Rory and Scoom, Danu. It was a really, really weird night. You and Marius drinking tea in was it Slug of Lettuce? It was in a Slug of Lettuce. Late at night after we'd just been to Nando's, absolutely smashed, which was really interesting. So we kind of did that, and we met Dean, who was also part of the group, and was like, oh, I kind of play on console. And we're like, oh, we play on console too. We kind of said, oh, let's play some games, with him, and then we're like, you know what, let's give ESL a go. I've really enjoyed the ESL format, to be honest, back in the day.
I think like we could literally talk about ESL. I think we could do a whole episode on ESL easily. I think the draw of ESL, firstly, I think to a lot of teams as well, which is why a lot of teams play it, is the name, isn't it? Like, you see ESL and you know, it's none of this sign up through Discord faff. It's the proper, proper in the loosest possible term, because it's a fucking nightmare.
Yeah, it is. I mean, the sign up process as a whole is a pain, but at the same time, it's like it does feel a little bit more professional when you're actually playing. Like from the get-go, I mean, you get like a password which is randomly generated. You have to then put that into the game, and this was at a time when you also couldn't spectate as well, I think. So I mean, you were literally dying and you couldn't watch the rest of the game out. You were kind of just waiting until the game was announced to be over. And it was just it was an interesting time, and actually, really did enjoy doing those sort of games. And
then that was when we sort of found, I think it was Milky's first of all. We sort of found that.
I think it was PCL first.
Oh, sorry.
I think we got involved in PCL.
Right.
It was I can't remember which season it was, but it was when Effects and Critic were hosting.
Oh, yes.
When they did that.
Gar was playing and...
Yeah, with a Vita. Was he playing with a Vita? I'm pretty sure he was playing with a Vita.
No,
maybe
might be
not.
Thumbless back then, you know?
Oh, it might have been.
Not sure. But then I remember, because we sort of saw ESL, saw PCL, and then found sort of Milky's, and there was that massive gap in quality, wasn't there?
Yeah.
In terms of, ESL had good quality, but like you said, the poor,
the challenging setup and kind of stuff. And it wasn't.
PCL had it all, but obviously it was NA, and then you went to Milky's, which at the time kind of it wasn't really the best, but it was
the height of lockdown. It was the most popular, right? Yeah. Everyone was wanting to play something, and he was just running something every day. It was
like 2-3 things a day. Yeah, it's like it
was just one of those things. It did get to the point where it's like 2. Yeah, he did do some stuff like earlier and whatever, and it was just. It was a great time, but it's kind of one of those things where it's kind of we kind of saw what was going on, and we were like, I kind of think we kind of want to try casting. I mean, we'd watched all of the PC comp scene, and we still really do watch a lot of that, and we're kind of like, you know what, let's try and give it a go. So I think there was the UK group, wasn't there, which was set up through the Discord. I think who was running it? I can't remember.
It was the Facebook group. No, was it?
It turned into ATC, didn't it? But it was.
Oh god, yeah, it was
Spuds.
Volcom
and Spuds were kind of running it through. They'd like been looking for UK players on Discord or on Facebook, and then they set up a Discord, and we're kind of like, we're going to do it through here. And it was kind of another place where it wasn't like all the top teams and stuff like that. So we kind of got involved in that. And again, enjoyed playing that. Did pretty well when we first started, but obviously, the standard was relatively low or quite simple. It was a lot of new teams, and then we're kind of like, we want to try casting. We tried to run a couple of events, and literally from there, we're kind of going, we want to make everything look better. We want to make sure everything's good. So we literally just went for, okay, right, what we're going to do is we're going to go full professional, go over the top in some situations where it's like literally a 2-day free event, but we're going to do it with like, I can't remember if you can remember my spreadsheet for the leaderboard, just so we could have it, so we didn't have to show PUBG lookup.
Still probably got it somewhere.
I think it had 30 something tabs, every single one doing some sort of like manipulation based off of a copy from PUBG lookup, adding in team logos and like ordering the leaderboard in the correct format and the right order, and doing all that sort of stuff. Just to make sure it looked good on stream. And I mean, compared to obviously with the fact we've got Twire now, which is just incredible. I don't think people understand how much better that has made everyone's lives, from our point of view. But
it was almost annoying to the fact that like Harry had built an amazing leaderboard and it did everything. Like it would show, if teams jumped up 3 spaces from the previous game, it would show that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it did. Yeah.
And we used to get so many compliments and stuff from that. But then literally, I think we first tested it.
PCL.
You set up Twire with PCL.
I was working with Twire for PCL, and kind of was like, okay,
on console.
Yeah, are you able to run it on console? And they were trialing it out. The API is very similar, but there was a couple of things I had to tweak. We tried it out, and we were like, okay, yeah, we can run it on a few trial events. Sort of did all of that, and then we used it for PCL, which was great. But like you said, it was frustrating because we built all of this stuff, but the fact that we didn't have to try and run because our PCs were struggling. I mean, my internet was non-existent. Your PC was really like struggling to run anything, and it just got
because we were like, the plan was to always host in person, like all these LAN events you see, where. Well, because every event was a LAN event. There was nothing really online, was there?
Yeah.
On PC, and because we used to live. Well, no, I'd moved then, so we're only like 20-30 minutes away. Really, so the plan was to do it in person.
It was to go to, sort of towards Colchester way, but we're kind of like, we're going to do that.
Shitty internet, my shitty computer, or my shitty Xbox. Like,
it was weird, and like I think we literally. At the start of it, we were like, I think it was just before lockdown happened. I think we were actually planning on going, and I was planning on going to you, and then it was like, oh no, this like stuff's coming in. We can't actually go and travel.
COVID thing's coming.
And it was literally the start of that. It was like, as there were these events that were kind of starting to get up. It wasn't quite lockdown yet, but things were starting to sort of pick up a little bit when it came to sort of comp and things like that. And just really. It was a really random thing, and obviously we hadn't really tried to do anything online, and we're like, you know what, we can maybe try it. So we were doing it through like Xbox Party, and obviously we were screen sharing because you couldn't have multiple observers in the game either at that point. Yeah. So it was kind of like, okay, how are we going to do it? So
you couldn't get game sound.
I couldn't get game sound. I also had such bad internet that I was literally getting it at like 2 FPS. I could like the script. It was so blurry that I couldn't really see names either when you showed like a map feed. Honestly, it was such a hard time to be able to do anything. Like, I don't know how I managed to do it, and I'm obviously grateful that I don't have to do that anymore. But it was just.
I think that pretty much convinced you to get better internet. Like,
well, no, I think I wanted better internet the whole time anyway, and it just wasn't available to me. Like. The fastest internet we could get at the time was about 16 down and 1 up, I think was like our average, and that was like the best internet available. There was no like fiber, there was no Virgin weren't touching that area. It's just a bit rural, and then literally it's probably about about 8 months ago now, I guess 8-9 months ago, they decided to install. No, it was the end of last year, last December. They decided to install fiber on my street. I was like, oh, perfect. So they installed it all, and it was so much better. And then I decided to move away 4 months later. So yeah, didn't really get to enjoy that fast internet for very, very long. But yeah, it was a challenging time, and so that's kind of where we came from. Was kind of obviously we were kind of close anyway, and then we found this game that we then connected on as well, and then we just carried on playing that. Obviously, I mean, we spent a lot of time together before this game came out. Like, I don't know how much people are aware of that, but it's kind of like that. The game wasn't what brought us and made us friends. It was kind of, we were, I'd
say it sort of brought us back together. Well, not that we were like, we had that sort of friendship where like we can all, I just message you, we could easily not talk for a couple of months and just be fine. It wouldn't be any problem. But yeah, I think we were sort of doing our own thing. You were doing your music. I was still studying, wasn't I? So yeah, it was a good timing, really. It sort of brought us, because I didn't think I'd be that interested. And like the amount of times I remember, like when we used to play, because it always used to be us, and then because it was in the height of PUBG, so then you had like Apex coming out, Fortnite obviously came out as well, and I was like, oh, let's try this game for a bit, and I'd be interested in sort of moving over to these sort of games, and you're like, nah. Well, let's do a couple of games. If we like it, come back. What else did we play? We used to. That was the form.
I think I bought Red Dead Redemption. That was one of the first ones I got, and you were like, "I don't know if I'm going to get it." I was like, "No, I'm going to get it." I played it for a little bit. I was like, "Oh, it's a really good game," and I think I played it for a week, and I haven't played it since.
Yeah,
it's just one of those things that I just I just couldn't get into. You just
can't beat PUBG. Like literally, can't even put it into words. Like what it is, which just draws you back to it. But
it's just something about the game, and like obviously, I mean, people are probably fully aware that how much we actually, do enjoy that game, because I mean, we literally spend so much time either watching it, playing it, running events, doing all that stuff, casting, all that sort of stuff.
I'll literally wake up and you'll have sent me like 4 messages about events or something that someone said that we need to talk about. Or, just can't get away from it, really.
Yeah, and like you said,
have a week off, I'll still send you things.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, as you said, it was kind of that sort of that thing that kind of made us talk more. I think before that, it was kind of like, I mean, because obviously our families know each other very well as well. And like, I'd sort of be coming home for the weekend from uni or something like that. My mum would be like, "Oh, have you spoken to Matt?" I'd be like, "No, like, I haven't really had a need to." Do you know what I mean? Like, what's Matt up to? I don't know.
Things.
And then it was literally to the point where it's like, okay, right, well, this game's come out. We literally get to the point where we started talking like every night, and I don't think we would have ever done that if we hadn't had the game.
It wasn't
like,
PUBG, no.
And I don't think. I mean, I'm not saying we wouldn't be friends, but I don't think we'd be as close as we are now if we didn't have that. So, I mean, it's definitely done a lot of stuff for us as well. In terms of like the partnership and kind of us coming together, but it's not necessarily, we kind of had a foundation there already. It just happened to be we both love the game as much as we do, which was kind of a bit of luck, because I think if one of us had sort of got bored of it or whatever, it could have easily happened early on. I think that potentially would have meant that either both of us weren't playing the game, or we weren't running these events, or we weren't doing all this other stuff that we kind of really enjoy doing now.
Yeah, I think it did a bit. We were always sort of in and out at times. We'd have we were so committed to just playing duos, and we weren't really keen playing squads. Sometimes, me and Brett go play something else or whatever. I'd say that how many times have I said like I'm never gonna, I'm done running events. I don't want anything to do with it anymore. And then next week, brand new idea. Here we are. New format, running something else. So.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just kind of been one of those things. I mean, we kind of said we're going to do half an hour. It's already been 40 minutes.
Jesus.
So, yeah, we can clearly talk quite a lot. And as we said, we can literally talk for hours. But I don't think we're going to talk too much longer, because, you guys don't want to have to necessarily listen to all of that. It's very long already. But, we kind of did want to touch on a couple of things. Obviously, CES just finished. We won't go into all the teams and stuff like that. Maybe we'll do another episode soon, talking about like PCL and CES and kind of all that sort of stuff, and how teams are actually doing, and going into more detail there. But obviously, CES been and gone. It's been quite a while since it's finished. Obviously, when we planned to do this, it was a lot. It literally just finished.
Literally just, yeah. So I think it was during, actually. We were like, we should do this and sort of top it off. Exactly. I think we need to give a shout out to Ice Cream Uploads as well, because it's kind of where, they kind of pushed me a little bit after watching them. Big fans of them. I know they're big fans of the channel as well. Their podcast is amazing, The Scoop. So if you haven't, do go and watch them. They are fantastic. But yeah, they just the same sort of format, really. Bibby and Graham. Oh, he's going to murder me.
He's going to murder you.
They're fantastic. They work so well together. Same sort of chemistry. Obviously, first time us doing this, so it's going to be, it's not going to be as polished. Of course, they've been doing it for years, but yeah, we had the idea ages ago. Really, not saying we had it before them, of course, but we've clearly not done well on our timekeeping.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that can kind of run away with you. And I think I've, listened to a lot of other podcasts and things like that. I think they kind of, they also run into the same issues sometimes. Like you'll hear them talking, they'd be like, "Oh, we haven't had a break yet," or it's getting towards the end of the show. We've sort of run out of time, kind of thing. But I mean, because it's the first one, obviously we had a lot of things that we want to talk about. We didn't know how long it was going to take, so yeah, we do. Yeah, as I said, kind of want to just touch on CES. Obviously, massive thanks to all those that did take part in CES and the admins that helped us run it as well. The other casters we had involved. It's not just us that kind of do things anymore. It kind of always used to be, but we realised that wasn't feasible. We couldn't just do everything ourselves.
No, I think we were very precious about what we've built. Quite rightly, as other people. Not mentioning names, I'm sure you can work out, are in the community, certainly on the American side of things. But yeah, there's, we can't fault anyone. Everyone who we've got in, is fantastic. We're talking, Arminius, Marco, everyone, not from England, from around Europe, who just literally just makes it so easy to deal with, all the tickets and the sign-ups for all these teams from Germany, France, Spain.
It's incredible. Brilliant. The amount of times when it'd be like, "Oh, I need to put an announcement out. Oh, but I also need to have it in French, German, Spanish, and just stick it in the translate channel that we've got, and kind of just be like, guys, do you mind just quickly translating this?" And honestly, the speed that they do it at is incredible.
And you don't write small messages.
I don't think I've ever written a small message in Discord ever. It just doesn't happen. No. I just I like to write a paragraph and stuff. But again, that's the reason kind of why for doing the podcast, because it means that I can kind of, instead of writing 50 million paragraphs in a chat when I'm trying to discuss something with someone, I don't need to. I can kind of voice my opinion in full and then kind of have a conversation following that afterwards if someone wants to, talk about anything that we kind of discuss. But yeah, CES, obviously one of those, it's a slightly new format for us. We did it a little bit differently to how we'd done the CCS, which, I think a lot of people love that format. We put a poll out.
CCS,
yeah, CCS. We put a poll out just before, kind of just when the event was finished, and kind of were like, which format do people prefer? And a lot of people were saying CCS. They enjoyed that one more, and I think it's because it's different to what else is on offer. The reason why we did the format for CES a bit differently was because we were working with a new sponsor. We're kind of like, I think we kind of, because it was a decent amount of money and it was going to be free, we kind of wanted to make sure it kind of swayed more towards those top teams that, over consistency, as opposed to the CCS format of that little bit of luck, of getting the win. You don't always see the best final out of that, but I think it's nice to see different teams being able to pick up wins and kind of do that as well. But yeah, it's kind of one of those things that we thought, we'll try this format, see how it goes. And I think the format worked really well, and I think it was still enjoyable. Always for our thinking is every single day that we host or cast has to be exciting in some way. So it's always difficult to kind of come up with a format where it has too long of the same teams in the same bracket. But I think PGC kind of does something similar. What I've noticed is they try and make it so it's long and stretched out and it's consistent, and it rewards the kind of the most consistent teams, but it's kind of broken up enough that it's kind of interesting to a viewer as well. So obviously we did the close qualifiers. Potentially, I think if we were to do it again, the close qualifiers would be slightly longer for the first round. I think having just one round there was a little bit of a...
Yeah, people were saying, I think people were a bit confused. 3 days.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So, it's kind of one of those things that we kind of, will change. But you had, 1 or 2 days for each of those rounds that was quite quick. And it didn't bore the player. It didn't bore the viewer. People tuned in kind of throughout that. Then we did Super Week, where it is, again, 2 days maximum per round, which is also very good. And then we did the finals, which are kind of obviously broken up into 2 weeks of 2 days as well. So there was nothing where it was like too long and stretched out. It was still enjoyable right to the very end. And I mean, that proved it from, Dig absolutely smashing it. Coming from pretty much doing nothing week 1, essentially, and just narrowly being able to get into the finals in the first place, to then coming out and winning, the most amount of cash out of all the teams, kind of in the second week and coming out top of that week, which is, obviously fantastic to see. I think they got a second amount of cash. I think K7 got 300 That's total because they won week 1 and got the overall win as well.
Yeah, I think I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's leave the teams for now, because I want to sort of talk about those more in depth, linked into PCL as well. So I think maybe we'll save that for another episode. Also, while you've said that, I've just had a brainwave of another format idea, which I have semi-regularly, but actually turn out to be all right sometimes. So.
Okay, to be fair, I was looking at you and you were like kind of looking up to the ceiling. I was like, either you're listening out for something or you're thinking, and so clearly it was the latter. But yeah, I think you're right. I think we can touch on kind of the different. We'll do another episode talking about the different structures and the different formats and kind of all that sort of stuff that's kind of been done. But the main issue for bringing up CS was obviously just as a thank you. To everyone for taking part, and obviously, we'll elaborate into kind of feedback and things like that at a later date, and tell you kind of what our thoughts are for next year and all that sort of stuff as well. But before we kind of sign off, is there anything else that you kind of want to discuss in this one? I'm obviously aware it's gone on for quite a while already.
No, I think we'll call it a day. I think, of course, if you are watching, we'll maybe put a post out advertising this a bit, and if there's anything you want us to talk about again, let us know. I think we should maybe start a tradition. So I think the final question from me is going to be, which team is piqued your interest this week? PC, console. Who are you looking for? Doesn't have to be a good team, could be anyone.
PC, if we're talking about PC,
do one for both. Do one for either.
Right, so PC, my team's going to be Na'Vi. I think, been watching PGC today. Obviously, the day we're recording this might not be the same day that we release it. Have got to edit it a little bit, but it is currently on Tuesday. So we have just seen Na'Vi pick up 3 back-to-back wins in the winners bracket, which was obviously incredible to see. And yeah, it definitely surprised me. I didn't think they'd be doing quite so successfully. Obviously they did well in the first round, but I didn't think they'd be able to carry that through to the winners bracket. So yeah, really interesting to see that. Do you want to talk about your PC team, and then I'll do my my console team?
Tell you what, I will do my console team, and I'll leave it at that. My console team, BHE, sat top in PAL, new season, 4 games played, 59 points, absolutely smashing it. Looking at the roster, Zenking, Clift, Natter, Stunts. Solid team. Grizz is shit, so obviously the lobby shit, or he suddenly turned up. But yeah, BHE. I love BHE for my team.
Nice. I haven't really watched too much, to be honest.
You don't give a shit about console, do you?
No, I don't really. I'm just all about the PC at the minute. And honestly, I've been so busy. I haven't really been able to do anything. And the fact that there hasn't really been any leagues or anything going on recently has kind of been another thing where there's not really been, one days and stuff are always great, but the last one day that was won by CoR, so I can't really say them. I could, but that would just be
It's one of those weeks, isn't it, where like you're not watching host streams, you're seeing if you can find a player's perspective.
Yes, yeah, exactly. It's one of those. So console has not been too much. I mean, I've kind of spoken about Dig already, so I'm going to go with Dig. Although it's not been this week, it was obviously the most recent team that I was.
Dig aren't a thing anymore, are they? So
are they not? They definitely are.
No, I'm thinking of VXH.
I was going to say they've just asked me for some more logos. There's nothing. But yeah, so Dig. I mean, I think they've been a team that's been around for a while, and I think have been kind of bordering on success a few times and not really achieving it. We gave them an invite slot to our event, just because they have been playing quite a lot and playing a lot of our events anyway.
I think I said that. Did I?
You said they should
get an invite.
No, they're the ones you said should not get an invite. You suggested
I
Tom.
slated them.
We picked.
I'll be honest,
we all picked a team, and it was all slightly different. I think we went. Well, it was quite funny. Right, I said, "Oh no, I think maybe we should actually go for Dig because we haven't really got too much German representation in the invited teams, and they're a big part of the community."
Don't quote me on what I've
and then no, it's me. And then I literally looked back after inviting them, and I realised we had Dub Hub, who were basically predominantly German, and I'm pretty sure there was another German team in there as well that we hadn't, that we hadn't remembered.
Well, they all moved around. The thing is, we went off primarily our events, and we had other people. It wasn't literally just you and me saying.
Yeah, we had about 4 of us trying to decide on teams.
It wasn't just biased, and I don't think you can't really say we've ever been biased, to be fair.
No.
But yeah, like we had tried to make it even. I think we were pretty much there on every team. The issue was like all the teams like Purge and stuff who had broken down and then sort of merged into several different teams.
I mean, Purge did have our initial invite, if you remember.
That's right.
They had our 8th invite, but they they decided not to take it. They didn't have a team together, so pulled out the event, which is obviously a shame because they were actually starting to get a bit of success. They were actually playing really well. I remember you had Polly and Jimbo playing for TSS. Jimbo played with TSS. But yeah, so we went with Dig and kind of we had a look at where all of our suggested our choices actually fell out of the competition, I think, afterwards. And I think we kind of looked at it and we're like, okay, some of them didn't even qualify for the Super Week, some of them didn't get into the finals. Dig were the only invited team that didn't make it through to the grand finals in the first in the upper bracket.
In the first.
And we were like, oh, maybe Dig were a bit of a wild card. Maybe we should have gone for someone else.
Tell you what, this is we're verging into episode 2.
We are as well. But yeah, okay. My team's gonna. We need to not have this as the last question. I know you said it was going to be a tradition.
The first question. Okay.
Yeah, I know you said tradition, but this is just starting a new topic, so we're just rambling on. But yeah, my team is Dig. They've done very well, and we're going to go with that.
Yeah, leave us a comment what the closing question should be then, because it's got to be something quick that we're not going to argue about for half an hour.
Yeah.
We'll think of something.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I think that's time to wrap it up there. But yeah, as Matt said, obviously, guys, if you do want to have anything that we kind of you want us to discuss or talk through, as you can see, we've done a little bit of that today anyway from previous questions. We will try and keep the episode shorter going forwards, because we're both very busy. But I think, considering we managed to do 53 minutes,
Jesus,
I know it's a long one. Considering we've done 53 minutes to the first one and we weren't sure if we're going to have enough topics to do it weekly, I think we probably could do it weekly. So we'll definitely try and get one done for next week, for sure, and get another episode out there. I'm not sure what our weekly release schedule is going to be, or if we're going to do it, whatever, or what day we're going to release them on. But we'll try and get that all sorted and let you guys know what the plan is going forwards. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, and if you've got anything you want us to discuss, please feel free to either leave it in the comments, because this will be going out on YouTube, our new YouTube channel, which is another thing we can discuss next time as well, our decision between Twitch and YouTube. But yeah, or you can
that's another hour right there, isn't it?
That is another hour right there. Or you can discuss in Discord as well, of course. Send us a message or create a ticket, or whatever you want to do. Feel free to do so. But yeah, I think for today, I think that's going to be it.
Yeah, so next time we'll have maybe a bit in depth look at CES teams, maybe PCL, Future events, potentially, we did have this obviously on today, but maybe we'll push that back a little bit. We can chat about that for hours. But yeah, it's been great. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. And yeah, we'll see you hopefully next week.
See you then.